Hello, friends. Dr. Devin Verana here. Welcome to the Big Idea Network, and welcome more specifically to our first episode where we are kicking off a new project, the Big Idea Show, where I'm going to be your hostess, your guide, and playmate in this adventure that we are about to embark upon, because that is exactly what health and healing and wellness and life, for that matter, look like. It is a journey, and I hope that it's an adventure. And if we have met and connected before, it's good to be together again, and I'm honored and so grateful that you would invest your time and energy here. You really are fuel for the fire. You are the heartbeat of why I do anything that I do. And if I can support you, in any way, please do not hesitate to reach out, to add comments, to hit us up on email or Instagram, and send us your ideas, your feedback, your requests of ways that we can show up for you. Because absolutely everywhere I go, from the practice to different events, to different speaking, to different workshops, when I get to connect with you, when I get to adjust you in the office, when you share your life with me, it becomes the reason, the foundation of the topics that we pick, the speakers that we pick, the conversations that we have, the questions that we ask, because I want to help accelerate and go together into some of those aches and pains and the challenges that we're all facing in different ways. So just thank you for being a part of my life and this mission. If we have not met, then let's start there. Let's start with that little itty bitty question of, who am I? If you're joining by audio, you're missing out getting to see today's hat, because I am a woman who wears many hats, both literally and figuratively. I have a big life and I freaking love it. But when I say who am I, it's branches that I get to answer this, because I play a lot of roles. I have big dreams, and I get to be fundamentally first a woman doing the work right alongside you. I love living life. I'm grateful to be alive. I am a fire element. I'm a dreamer. I'm a rebel. I'm a lover. I am a hopeless believer of miracles, and that life is always unfolding for us is kind of the name of my game. I am married. I am a proud wife of an amazing man and chiropractor, Dr. Joey Verana. He's my best friend. He's my soulmate. He is a lot like me in that we believe we are only here for a little while, and we want to live as much life as we can while we are here. And he is a chiropractor. So when we say we are chiropractors, it's not even something that we do. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of living, which you're going to get to know, through these episodes, because foundationally the philosophy of chiropractic and the power that made the body heals the body, and that, we are masters of our fate, and we are constantly evolving, adapting, and healing and growing. I love that I get to share that with him, because it then impacts the way that we raise our 5 children, and the way that we invest our finances, in the way that we prioritize our health, and the way that we work out together. So I just love him. You're going to get to see him. He'll join me for some episodes. He is a one of a kind, and he'll bring a lot of personality onto the episodes that we will do together. So I'm excited for that. Like I said, we have 5 kids. Roman is 19. He is a student at Wichita State University. He's a bodybuilder, powerlifter. He's a big, tough guy, but he's a lion heart teddy bear too. He is on his way to be a chiropractor as well. And he is one of the driving forces for this podcast, because I want to have conversations and create a time capsule that will serve him in his evolution. Also for his siblings, he's just a little ahead of them in the time game, but he's also been one of my greatest teachers. So you will likely see him as well. He spoke at a number of our Big Idea events, and he is wise beyond his years and very much a part of the Lighthouse and Big Idea missions. We have 2 sets of twins after Roman. So we have 13-year-old twins and 8-year-old twins. Yes, can't even make that up. God has a sense of humor. But we have 13-year-old boys, Jagger and Knox. They are wild. They are ornery. They are strong. They are hilarious. They just shout out to anybody raising teenagers in the world today, because it is not for the weak of heart, especially boys, or at least that's what I know. And God dang, they're so much fun, and they keep us all on our toes, and they're wrestlers. They are also my supporters in Big Idea. They're always helping behind the scenes, kind of put the pieces together, and they've joined me on stage in different ways. They are yin and yang. I mean, they couldn't be more different, but they each push me and elevate me to show up in my best self. Because if I'm going to go home and say, hey boys, like you better be on your best behavior when it comes to school, and we homeschool, and that's something we'll unpack here too. But, if I'm going to expect the best out of them in school, in life, in wrestling and athletics, like I have to give my best. So, and those two will call me out. And we have our 8-year-old twins, Magnolia and Phoenix, and they are the babies of the family, but in so many ways they are leaders of our family because they keep us young at heart. They root us in the here and now, because sometimes I can just get too busy for my own good, but there's just nothing like putting on sparkly makeup and playing, with make believe things with my daughter, or in snuggling and watching a good movie, or playing outside and venturing at the lake with Phoenix. They keep us very rooted in what matters the most. And so I'm so grateful. Clearly you can see, cliche as it might sound, they are all my why. They are the reason. If I wake up in the morning and I got my babies and we're healthy and we're happy, it's going to be a good day. If I go to bed and everybody's good and I loved them and I got to share life with them and do my best to be a good mom, it was a good day, right? And so you will get to learn more about them. And like I kind of referenced there, this podcast is a time capsule because, guys, I don't know if you've noticed, but we are living in one of the most insanely fascinating times in history. And there is a lot shifting and a lot changing. And I want to have something that I could give back to them, to my grandkids, to say, this is who your wild mother, grandmother was, and this is the way that we were showing up. Because I call on this moment to remember something a friend of mine, Dr. Leslie, said to me. We were both getting fired up about crazy health statistics for kids, in the world. And in over 2020 to now, man, trends aren't really going in the direction that we want. And I can get really fired up. My nickname, you'll see why, I'm sure, over time, is Hulk. Because when I get like looking at the state of the world or trends in healthcare, particularly for kids, it just breaks my heart and gets me so fired up. And so we were having that conversation and we were hearing everybody say, like, we've got to make the world better for our kids. We've got to do better than this for our future. And she said something that just, boom, stuck with me and will stick with me, because it can be a trap, honestly, to fall into that. We've got to make the world better, right? And like the quote goes, you want to change the world, go home and love your family. So instead of how can we make the world better for our kids, what kind of kids are we going to leave the world? If I double down on my health, I make the world a better place. If I double down on the resilience, health, adaptability, and strength of my kids, then it really doesn't matter what the world does or what the latest trend is or AI coming down the pipeline or political insanity. It doesn't even matter because I'm training myself. I'm training my family. I'm preparing my children for whatever comes their way. And that is at its essence the mission that this is all about, because I really do believe how we do one thing is how we do all things. And I think there's some major premises that we make all of our thoughts, beliefs, and choices around, which then create our life experience. And so if you don't like your life, your health, your relationships, then you can get back in the driver's seat if you look at some of these core beliefs. And that's the conversations that I want to have to give back to my kids. But the other driving force, because that's my personal, that's me, Devin the woman. Now over here is my professional side, my professional hat, and that's my chiropractic self. And that's for my team and for the community that we've built in Wichita, Kansas at the Lighthouse. And I'd walk through fire for all of you to help alleviate the suffering that I see every day, that I lay literally my hands upon. I want to do everything I can in the time that I have to help make your life brighter. And then that has grown into big idea events and health and wellness, speaking engagements that I've gone out to, or emceeing different events or workshops and things. I've gotten to meet a lot of people. And while we're all very, very different, if I look at the Lighthouse, if I look at the people I've met at the Big Idea or Health Freedom Symposium or the event or all the travels I've had, over the last 20 years professionally, fundamentally, we're all probably a lot more alike than we could ever be different. And the challenges and the stuck points and the sicknesses and the suffering, the pain, it's fundamentally the same for all of us. And it's not easy, but the roadmap to healing emotionally, physically, spiritually, all of that is pretty similar for all of us. And we can get reproducible results in physical pain and in healing and health and wellness in general when we get the compass right, when we get the structure right, when we shift some of those perspectives and really take a look at the major premises that we're making all of our habits, choices, and life patterns from. We strip it down, we can make it better. And so those are the conversations that I'm having every single day in the Lighthouse. Those are the missions, the speakers that I've brought in, in past podcasts and big idea events. And so here in 2024, it literally was taking it all and setting it down and stripping it down and going, what has worked really well in the Lighthouse? What has worked really well in events? What topics were common themes across all the spaces and places that I've been? How do I kind of sum up and squeeze the juice out of my chiropractic education, out of my acupuncture certification, pediatric prenatal trainings and certifications, and different courses? Tony Robbins, Josh Axe. I mean, just everywhere I've gone, how can I squeeze it all down and sum it all up into some organization? And here we are. And, back in 2013, I opened the chiropractic practice, and then I went through a couple of big life things. And my mom passed away from a journey with stage 4 cancer that spread all through her body. My uncle and best friend, Kevin, passed away after being diagnosed with a brain tumor. My father-in-law passed away all in their early 50s. And then we had multiple patients, children in my practice pass away at young ages of cancers. And so all this ache and pain festered inside of me and the day-to-day of being able to, adjust people, but there was never enough time to have all the conversations and help you all as much as I wanted. And so we birthed the big idea in 2018 as an event first. And it was amazing. And I love going to events, but they're just that. They're just a blip kind of on the radar. But the big idea is that we're all kind of one light bulb moment away from an entirely different life. You are one big idea away from radically different health circumstances. You are one big idea away from joy and fulfillment in your marriage or as a parent that you may not be experiencing at the moment. You're just one big idea away from rocket shipping your finances. You are one big idea away from your best self. And we can get in spin cycles and kind of stuck in our ruts, and it can feel really big and daunting because stress is a part of life. Pain is a part of life, and the pressures of today's world, that pace is picking up. I don't think we've ever seen this chaos or destabilization of our collective, and yet conversely, in the yin and yang scenario, we've never had this much access, this much ability to find the thing we're searching for. We've never had this much potential in the collective system for healing, for joy, for prosperity. And so I think fundamentally, it depends on what you're looking for. And that's what I'm going to leave us with. So, we are going to unpack it topic by topic, conversation by conversation, question by question, answer by answer together. And we're going to go on a little bit of a ride. And I am listening each step of the way of who you want to talk to and learn from, what you want to talk about and unpack. But the driving force, the common theme, the stuck point, right? What we call in chiropractic the subluxation, which is a lack of light in our system, collectively and individual. The most common subluxation is that we're operating from a flawed premise. What I see in, I'm using air quotes, healthcare, that's actually sick care, is that people individually and collectively believe that they are broken, and thus it inspires them and motivates them to go look for a fix because fundamentally they believe they're broken, or that something's wrong. If there's pain or symptoms, that means something's wrong and it needs fixed. So when we look at the cascade, let's say a guy has low back pain and he doesn't want to hurt, right? Nobody wants to hurt. So I have this pain, it aches, I'm going to take a pill, I want the pain to go away. If the pain goes away, then I can get back to my life, is kind of the road this typically leads. And then we hit this point where, okay, I made that choice, I'm taking the ibuprofen, but the pain's not really going away. So maybe I should see my doctor. Again, we're broken, we need fixed. There's a problem, I need it to go away. So they go to their doctor and the doctor says, let's maybe up a different type of medication. Maybe let's try physical therapy. Maybe they make a recommendation for another type of therapy or give them some stretches approaches, but either way they say, okay, this isn't working. Let's get into some physical therapy, an advanced, state of medication, or in some people's cases, even a surgical consult. And so here's this person that's in pain and they're still just trying to get out of it. It's like, oh my God, make it go away. Like, I need this to go away so I can get back to my life, right? And we get in this spin cycle of, take this thing, do this thing, make the pain go away. This is usually the point where I get to meet people. Another scenario if we apply it to children is like, say that they're constipated and mom does what she can. She kind of changes up diet. She looks at, environmental things. She does what she knows how to do. And then she takes them to the doctor and the doctor says, let's do Miralax. And instead of it going on for 7 days, like the recommendations on the product say, like, this is for short-term use, I'm now seeing babies that have been taking Miralax for months or years. That's not normal. Like, if the body isn't eliminating properly, that's not normal. And so we end up down this road taking medications to make a symptom go away or to shortcut the system instead of really digging underneath for the root of it. So then I watch people land stuck in this sick cycle or stuck in a cage, which I believe is what diagnosis does to people. And I'm not talking diagnosis of this is where we're at and knowledge is power. And I'm pro-diagnosis for that. I do not like prognosis, and I do not like people being stuck under a diagnosis forever. That's a cage that you can't get out of. That's believing that your genetics or your circumstances, this diagnosis, own you. And that I do not support, I do not believe, and I think is a complete falsehood and a tragedy in our culture right now that has a hold on so many people. The beauty is the door's open on the cage. And you can walk out of it. You can get your child out of it at any time, but you're going to have to make a change. You're going to have to make an adjustment. Here is where I usually meet people at the lighthouse at different events. You see people stuck in different physical, symptomatic, or emotional, like stuck in ruts, sick and tired of being sick and tired. We're suffering. There's dis-ease or dis-ease setting in, and they don't want to live this way anymore. And they've tried what they know how. They've gone where they know where to go, and it's not working. It's not giving them the result that they're after. So the breakdown happens. And sometimes it has to break apart. Sometimes we have to fall apart and go, I don't know what to do. And the second we say that, the second that we experience that breakdown, that's where the breakthrough can happen. That's where a shift and an adjustment can happen. That's who I am. In those cracks, in that dis-ease, in that subluxation, that lack of light, I'll be the lighthouse. I'll bring those light bulb moments with the big idea, because this is where we can pour a new light into the cracks and get a different outcome. Because when we shift our perspective, when we unanchor from the beliefs that are keeping us sick and we change the way we look at things, well, then the things that we're looking at are going to change, friends. And that's where we come up with a new set of options and we get new results. We change the GPS trajectory, so now we're headed in a whole new trajectory altogether. So we make the adjustment in our perspective. Then we start to make different choices, different health choices, different food choices, different, energetic choices, sleep choices, hydration choices. And then we shift and adjust who's in our village. We might clean up, different toxic relationships. We might choose different practitioners. We might just start to color outside the lines that had us stuck in the box in the first place. And when we nurture a new set of core beliefs, habits, choices, village, then we get a whole new different life experience. That's the big idea. The big idea is that you can heal anything, that there is innate intelligence, universal intelligence operating around us and in us every second of every day. The same power that made you from conception to here. You are a miracle in motion. That same source is with you. It never leaves you. It never fails you. But sometimes we are at toxic load, chemically, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and we start to get sick, stuck, dis-eased. But if our life choices make us sick, if we make different choices, our life choices can then make us healthy. And that is healthcare. Healthcare is radical responsibility on the shoulders of both the practitioner and the patient. Healthcare is honest, compassionate conversations. Healthcare is hope, always possible. If you look into the eyes of your practitioner and you don't see hope, get out of that office. If they are speaking a language that has kept you sick for years, fire them. Doctors work for you, not the other way around. If the podcasts, if the TV shows, if the media outlets, if the social media accounts that you're engaging in are making you angry, fearful, sad, if they're fueling you in a negative way, turn them off. This is time to walk away from all the things that got you here in the first place, and only you can do that. That's the big idea. you're the hero of your story. I know it. I believe it. I've felt it. I've experienced it. I've seen it a million times. And once you see miracles, you tend to just expect them at every corner. And that is what I'm doing here, folks. If you can hear me, this is for you. I don't know where this found you or why you landed on this podcast, but it's not an accident. It's not a coincidence. You're here for divine reasons. Listen to these conversations and let them hit you right where they are divinely designed to land in your ears, in your mind. Welcome to a new chapter in your life. Let today be the day. If you are here on video, on YouTube with me, I'm looking at you, I'm talking to you, I'm creating this for you and with you because you are not alone. We are not alone. We are village creatures. We are meant to do life together. And that is why the Big Idea Network is here. And that is why the Big Idea Show will be intentionally designed every step of the way for you. And we'll meet here on Mondays and we will go live on YouTube on Tuesdays. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and join me on Tuesdays. We'll do office hours where we talk about, hot topics and common themes going through the lighthouse. And on Thursdays, I have special episodes called Adjust the Adjuster that are for my chiropractic brothers and sisters, because it is not an easy thing to lay your hands on people in today's world. There is a lot of stress on the individual. There's a lot of stress on the collective. And if our chiropractors are not taking really good care of themselves, if our adjusters aren't adjusting themselves, then we get sick. And I'm watching too many people burn out in practice or get really sick or even die at very early ages. And that's how I'll close today, guys. It's both my hopeless, unwavering trust in source and that life is always happening for us and that miracles are always possible. I'm a romantic and an optimist, maybe to a fault sometimes, but I'll take it. I'd rather be that way. I will always look for the sunny side. I will always look for the light. And I have a lot of scars in my own health, in my own births with my kids, in my life, in countless broken heart moments, in countless fractures to my beliefs. I don't come here to anoint you because I have arrived at some all-knowingness. I am in it with you, and I am fueled by the pain that I've experienced, but also that I witness you experiencing. Pain does have purpose, and it's inevitable. But suffering is a choice because you don't have to stay stuck there. But we all land in a spot where we're the only ones who can come to save the day. And that's the big idea. You're it. You're the one that you've been waiting on. I want to help support you and champion you in every single way. And I want to celebrate together in the weeks and months that unfold, because we are headed on a collision course and things collectively are probably going to have to get worse before they get better. And that's okay, because just like if I had an open wound right here and you saw a bunch of pus and nasty stuff coming, that's healing. Scab is healing. Pain is part of the healing process. And so if we lean in on each other and we ask different questions, we can get through this time better, brighter, healthier than ever. So welcome to the Big Idea Network. Welcome to the Big Idea Show. I am Dr. Devin Verana, and I cannot wait to step by step go on this ride with you. I'll see you next time.